Tonight we're having gourmet chicken Phillies. All ingredients will be provided in the description. First thing we're going to start working on is our cheese sauce. We're going to start with 6 ounces of Gruyère cheese, and we're going to get that shredded up into a bowl. Once we have our cheese shredded, we're going to get together 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1/4 a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 a teaspoon of white pepper, 1/4 a teaspoon of paprika, and a can of evaporated milk. First, we want to start by melting our 2 tablespoons of butter, and then we're going to add our 2 tablespoons of flour. We don't want to add it all in at the same time. That way it doesn't clump together. So we're going to just add a little bit, mix it around, and then we're going to add the rest of it. Now that our flour is browning, we're going to start incorporating our evaporated milk. Again, we just want to kind of whisk this in slowly. We don't want to add it all at once. Kind of let everything come up to temperature. Now that we've got our evaporated milk in, we're going to add our seasonings. We're just going to give this a quick whisk, get everything incorporated. Now that we've got all our seasonings whisked in, we're just going to start grabbing handfuls at a time and sprinkling it into our sauce. That way we don't have any big clumps of cheese at the end. Now that we've got all our cheese in, we're just going to give it one last whisk and set it off to the side. Next, we're going to start on our caramelized onions and peppers. For this, I use 2 white onions and 3 multicolor bell peppers with 3 tablespoons of duck fat. You can use whatever type of peppers or onions you want. However, if you're looking for a sweeter, darker caramelization, I would recommend using yellow or sweet onions. For this, I used my mandolin to cut up the onions and then used a knife to cut up my peppers about the same size. We're going to get our stove set to medium here, and then we're going to add our 3 tablespoons of duck fat. And we're just going to start adding our peppers and onions in there. Now we're going to hit it with a big pinch of salt and stir about every 5 minutes until the liquids are evaporated. Once we see the water starting to evaporate, we're going to want to make sure that we stir these more frequently so they don't stick to the bottom of the pan. At this point, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar and 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Once we have that mixed in, we're just going to set this off to the side until we're ready to assemble our Phillies. We're going to go ahead and get these cut up. We just want to make sure that they're small enough to where they're going to cook fairly quickly on the grill. They don't have to be precise or anything, but you want to make sure that they're generally the same size for all of them. We're going to season our chicken with 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. We're just going to get that all mixed up. Once we have that mixed up, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of duck fat to our chicken. That's just going to kind of act as a binder to make sure that seasoning sticks pretty good. That duck fat will also help create a nice crust on the chicken once it hits that hot griddle. Once we get our griddle nice and hot, we're just going to hit it with a little bit of high heat olive oil. Make sure that you use something that has a nice high smoke point. We're just going to get that spread around a little bit. Once we have it spread around and it's nice and hot, we're just going to add our chicken. And we're just going to get this chicken spread out over the griddle. We want all our chicken to cook evenly, so we're not going to let it bunch up. So we're going to try to spread it out as best as we can. And while the chicken's going, we're just going to take some buns that I had picked up from the local bakery that I had cut the tops out of and hollowed out a little bit. We're just going to take some heaping spoons of that cheese sauce that we made earlier, and we're just going to spread that evenly inside those buns. Now that our chicken's almost done, we're going to put some of those peppers that we made earlier down. Now it's important that you don't let these sit too long because they will burn. Once we get these peppers all spread out over the grill, we're going to start covering them with chicken meat. Now that we have our peppers covered in meat, we're just going to go ahead and take these buns and we're going to press them down on top. This will help us pick the sandwiches up here in a little bit when we go to remove them from the grill. And that spoon was hot. Now we're going to get these bad boys removed from the heat. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.